Welcome back to match day 12 in La Liga, and after a big weekend last week, we are getting up for another huge weekend. We are going to have a long weekend of games. It is from Friday till Monday, but we are just going to have 8 games. Real Madrid's game is postponed. Villarreal's game is postponed as well. So both of those teams are going to sit back along with Valencia and Rayo, and because of the European competition. So it's going to be quite interesting to see how that shakes up the weekend with the other teams playing, and we're going to see what happens in that. And let's go ahead, we are going to make our predictions for those games. 1 point if the entire prediction is correct, half a point if the prediction is correct but the scoreline is not correct, and we're going to see how many of my predictions become true at the end of the weekend. So let's go ahead and start. The first game is Alaves versus Mallorca. It is 16th versus 7th. Now Alaves are all over the place, like 6 defeats in a row. You cannot write it. It is not acceptable at any level, especially at the top tier of Spanish football professional league. You cannot just lose 6 games in a row. It is really at the moment, like, I cannot really have any good adjective to describe them. They have been pathetic. There has not been a really good performance. It feels like they are not really even trying, if I'm being very honest with you, at the moment. They are playing against a Mallorca side who have been exceptional. They have been quite the opposite of Alaves. They are exceeding expectation. Nobody thought that they would be 7th after 11 points, and not just 7th. They are tied with 4 points at this 4 teams. They are on 7 points with other 4 teams, and they are fighting to get into those European places. That's why it has been a really good season for Mallorca, and I think it is gonna continue. I just don't see them losing this game. They have won 3 out of their last 5 games, and they played a very tough game against Athletic Club over the weekend. It was quite a very hard fought 0-0 draw, and I think the way that they are becoming this season, they have begun they can play either way. They can go ahead and score, they can defend as well, and I think it is going to be an easy win for them. I'm going for a 2-0 win for the away side. The next game is Osasuna versus Valladolid. It is 8th versus 19th. Osasuna are again one of those teams like Mallorca who are playing really good, and you have sort of become the dark horses to get into those European places. They, like Mallorca, are on the same points along with Betis and Athletic Club, and they know how important this game is. They defeated Sociedad last weekend in a convincing way. They are now playing against a Valladolid side who have lost 4 of their last 5 games, and even though they finally won a game a couple of weeks ago, they are still struggling, if I'm being very honest with you. They are not really playing that good, and I think their struggles are going to continue. I just don't see them winning this game. Osasuna have been in a really good form, and they know these are the type of games where they have to win if they want to get into those European places, and I think they are going to win it. I think it will be a convincing win as well. I'm going for a 3-1 win for Osasuna. The next game is Girona versus Leganes. It is 13th versus 14th. 2 teams who are not really doing that good. Girona, they were amazing last season, but all that charm has gone away from them. And Leganes themselves, they are quite really struggling, if I'm being very honest with you. And I think it will be a very tough game, very hard fought game, but I just don't think it is this game is going to bring out any result for either of them. I think it will be a draw, and I just don't, and I think it will be a boring draw as well. Not a 0-0 draw, but I think it's a very low scoring draw. It's going to be quite cagey, because both these teams are really struggling, and they are at the moment in that phase where they hope that they just don't lose any games, and if you have that mindset, it becomes very hard to win games. It becomes very hard to perform good, and I think that is why I'm going for a 1-1 draw between Girona and Leganes. Moving on to the next game, it is Atletico Madrid versus Las Palmas. It is 4th versus 18th. Now Atletico Madrid finally lost their first game of the season last weekend against Real Betis, and to be very honest with you, it was not a good performance from them. Real Betis were all over them, and the pressure on Simeone keeps on increasing. They have spent a good amount of money over the weekend, probably like the most money out of all the Spanish clubs, and I think all the European clubs, if not the top most. I think they were in the top 3, and they have brought in so many good players, but the problem is they are not performing to the level that you would have expected them to perform, and a lot of the questions are being asked of Diego Simeone. I have not seen such controversial opinions about the manager since he has been at the job, since he has been performing a lot, and I think he knows that his position is no longer in a 100% safe, because the fans are now really getting agitated, and they want something to change at the club. They are playing against a Las Palmas side who for the first 9 9 games they were not able to win anything, but the last 2 match days they have won both their games. They have moved up to the 18th, and they are going to come in this game with a lot of confidence, and they know that Atletico Madrid are down at the moment. They are feeling the heat, they are feeling the pressure, and they are going to try to make it make life as hard as possible for Atleti. But I just think that Atleti have too much in their in their locker for Las Palmas, and I think it will be a tight game, but I think Atleti are going to win it. But I think it will be a very, very close game because of how both these teams are feeling at the moment, and despite the difference in players and whatnot, but I just think the mentally what these teams are feeling at the moment, it is going to play a big part in the game, and that is why I'm going for a very close 1-0 win for Atletico Madrid. The next game is a Barcelona versus Espanyol. It is first versus 17th. Barcelona, they have been amazing this season. They won last weekend against Real Madrid 4-0. They thrashed Madrid in El Clasico, and they have made up a good lead against Real Madrid, 6-point lead quite early on. I said after the game, for me the league is done. I just don't see anybody stopping Barcelona. They have been amazing this season. They are playing against an Espanyol side who are 17. They have lost 4 of their last 5 games, and it is not really looking good, and unfortunately for them it is gonna get worse this weekend as well. There is not it is such an easy prediction to make. There is no other result than a Barcelona win. It is just going to be the question of how many goals they end up winning this game, and I'm going for a 3-0 a 4-0, I think 4-0. I'm going for a 4-0 win for Barcelona. Next game is Sevilla versus Real Sociedad. It is a 10th versus a 12th. Now both these teams are not in the position that I expected them to be. Sevilla really started the season bad, but they have made a good turnaround. They have won 3 of their last 5 games, and they are trying to get break into those in that top 10 of the table. Real Sociedad, I mean, I really thought they were going to have a great season, but it is not. They are not really doing that good. They are 12th at the moment. They had a mini revival, but they lost again to Osasuna last weekend. And I think this is going to be another tough game for them. They, in their mind and in their heart, they know that they are not that far away from the teams, even though they look like they are 12th, but the point difference between them and the teams in the top half of the table is not that much, and their aim is still going to be to somehow get into those European places. And I think this is going to be a very tough game. It will be quite interesting game, and I think there are going to be goals in this game, but I just don't see a winner out of these two. I am going for a 2-all draw between Sevilla and Real Sociedad. The next game is a huge one. It is Athletic Club versus Real Betis. It is 5th versus 6th. Now both these teams are on the same number of points. Both these teams have won the same number of games. They have lost same number of games. They have drawn same number of the games. The only reason Athletic are above them is because of a goal difference. Apart from them, they cannot be separated, if I'm being very honest with you. Betis, they won last weekend, a huge win for them against Atletico Madrid to get them up to 6th. Athletic Club, they drew against Mallorca. That was a very hard fought game, and Athletic Club would be really disappointed that they were not able to get the 3 points. They had both these teams had a big games the last weekend, and now this weekend again they have a mess. This is a massive game, and I think it will be a very good game of football. Both these teams like to go ahead and try to outscore each other. Both teams like to play attacking football. It will be very interesting to see how this game goes. I think there are going to be goals in this game, but I think there's not going to be a winner in this game. I think there's going to be another draw between these two teams fighting for those European places, fighting for that Champions League place. I think it will be very tough. I think it will be quite interesting to watch as well, but in the end I think it will be a draw. I'm going for another 2-all draw this weekend, but this time it is going to be between Athletic Club and Real Betis. And the last game of our La Liga this weekend is a Celta Vigo versus a Getafe. It is 11th versus a 16th. Now Celta, they have finally dropped down of the top 10 in La Liga for the first time this season. They have lost 3 of their last 5 games. They are still playing really good football. I'm not gonna deny they have been quite exciting, quite entertaining to watch this season, but they really need to win somehow like, because it is now becoming a problem for them. They are playing against a Getafe side who are not really winning the games. They have won just once in their last 5. They have drawn their last 3 games, and I think this is going to be a very close game again. I think Getafe are really hard to break them down, and Celta Vigo, they like to play that expensive brand of football, entertaining free-flowing football. I think it could either become a very high-scoring game for Celta Vigo, or it could be another frustrating night for them, and Getafe might go ahead and get another draw. They would love to get a win, but I just don't see Getafe winning this game. I think it will be be either a draw or a Celta win, if I'm being very honest with you. And just because Celta are at home and I have a soft spot for them, I'm gonna nick it towards them. I think they are gonna win it somehow. I'm going for a 1-0 win for a Celta Vigo. And with that, my predictions for La Liga match day 12 are completed. As I said, just 8 games this weekend, and still we have like 4 days to go through. 4 days and 8 games. It will be quite interesting to see how this maps up, because it's a Champions League weekend as well. 2 big teams are not playing, 2 small teams, 2 teams who are in the relegation zone. One team, sorry, Valencia not playing. Rayo are in one of those teams who are fighting for the Champions League places as well. They are not also playing, so it will be quite interesting to see how other teams react to this. For me, it is going to be a couple of really good games this weekend. We'll see how many of my predictions are come true and how many of them are completely off the mark. You guys can play along with me, make your predictions in the comment section below, and we can see at the end of the weekend whose predictions were correct and who was way off the mark. And that is it for me in this video. Let me know how many of my predictions you agree with it as well in the comment section below. Like the video, share it as well, click on the notification bell, and of course subscribe to the channel. We are trying to get to 450 subscribers at the end of November. This is our task and we hope we are able to achieve it. So please go ahead and help the channel and growing and subscribe to it. Until next time, bye bye.